England, a land of history, opportunity, and dreams. For centuries, it has been a top destination for immigrants seeking a better life. But something unexpected is happening. The UK is now witnessing a massive exodus, with immigrants leaving in record numbers. And it's happening right before our eyes. But why? What's pushing people to pack their bags and leave? Either returning to their home countries or seeking a fresh start elsewhere. Today, we're uncovering the real reasons behind this surprising migration trend. Trust me, the truth might shock you. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with us until the end. You won't want to miss this. Let's dive in. Number 1, the crushing cost of living. Let's start with something that affects everyone: the rising cost of living. Over the past few years, England has become an increasingly expensive place to survive, and for immigrants, the financial strain is becoming unbearable. Housing is one of the biggest challenges. Property prices have skyrocketed, making homeownership feel like an impossible dream. The average house price in the UK has now surpassed £290,000, while in London, it's a staggering £500,000 just to get a foot in the door. For someone new to the country, saving up for a home in this market can feel like chasing an illusion. And renting? That's not much easier. In London, the average rent has soared to £2,000 per month, while other major cities like Manchester, Birmingham, and Bristol have seen rental prices surge by 10 to 15% in just the past year. For immigrants trying to balance these soaring costs with a modest salary while also supporting their families, the financial pressure is becoming unbearable. When the cost of basic survival housing, food, and transportation keeps rising, many immigrants are left wondering, is England still the land of opportunity, or is it time to look elsewhere? Number 2, inflation, a burden, too heavy to carry. If the high cost of living wasn't enough, there's another major problem: inflation. Prices have skyrocketed, making everyday essentials feel like luxury items. In just the past 12 months, grocery prices have surged by a shocking 133%. Can you imagine? The cost of basic necessities like bread, milk, and eggs has become so high that many families are struggling to afford them. And it doesn't stop there. Energy bills in the UK are among the highest in Europe. Keeping the lights on and heating your home has turned into a financial nightmare for many. On top of that, petrol prices continue to rise, making it incredibly expensive just to get to work, drop the kids off at school, or even run simple errands. For immigrants working low-income jobs, this situation feels like an endless struggle. Stretching a paycheck has become a daily battle, and for many, it no longer makes sense to stay in a country where basic survival is becoming impossible. Can you really build a future in a place where necessities are slipping out of reach? Many are starting to believe the answer is no. Number 3, a changing political climate. Now, let's talk about something that's just as important as the economy: the political climate. Over the past few years, there has been a noticeable shift in the national mood, and for many immigrants, it's becoming harder to feel at home. From the heated Brexit debates to ongoing discussions about national identity, the UK seems to be moving away from its once celebrated multicultural roots. A rising wave of hostility towards immigrants in some parts of British society has made many people feel unwelcome or even unwanted. And let's be honest, nobody wants to live in a place where they don't feel accepted. On top of that, immigration policies have tightened significantly. Long-term residents who once felt secure are now struggling to renew their visas, facing longer waiting times and stricter requirements. The government has been toughening immigration laws due to growing public pressure, leaving many immigrants in a constant state of uncertainty about their future. Imagine living every day not knowing if you'll be allowed to stay in the country you've built your life in. Would you continue to stay? Or would you start looking for a place where you feel more secure and valued? For thousands of immigrants, the answer is clear: they're leaving. Number 4, the impact of COVID-19. COVID-19 was a game changer for the entire world, and the UK was no exception. The country faced strict lockdowns, economic instability, and job losses, and for many immigrants, the pandemic turned their dreams into uncertainty. Industries that relied heavily on immigrant workers, such as hospitality, retail, and tourism were among the hardest hit. Businesses shut down, jobs disappeared overnight, and many immigrants found themselves without any source of income. Unfortunately, when companies started cutting costs, it was often immigrant workers who were the first to go. Yes, the UK government did introduce furlough schemes to help struggling workers, but these programs didn't cover everyone. Those on temporary work visas or non-permanent contracts were often left with little to no support. With bills piling up and no clear path forward, thousands of immigrants were forced to make a difficult decision: should they keep struggling in the UK or leave in search of better opportunities elsewhere? And let's not forget about mental health. The stress of job losses, financial struggles, and isolation pushed many people to their breaking point. For some, the pandemic was a wake-up call. They realized that the UK was no longer the land of opportunity they once believed it to be. So, they left. Number 5, education and the dream of a better future. One of the biggest reasons immigrants move to the UK is the hope of giving their children a better future. But what happens when that dream starts to fade? While the UK is home to some of the world's top universities, the rising cost of tuition has made higher education feel unreachable for many immigrant families. Those who don't qualify for financial aid or scholarships are often left struggling to afford even a basic education. And it's not just university students who are feeling the pinch. The cost of childcare and primary education is also skyrocketing, making it harder for working-class families to provide quality education for their kids. For many immigrants, education was supposed to be their ticket to a brighter future. But now, with tuition fees climbing, financial aid harder to get, and school expenses adding up, some are wondering, is the UK still the best place to build a future for their children? For many, the answer is no, and that's why they're leaving. Number 6, but here's the silver lining for many immigrants. Leaving the UK isn't the end of the road, it's the start of something new. Countries like Portugal, Germany, Canada are welcoming more immigrants than ever, offering better job prospects, lower living costs, and more supportive policies. For some, returning to their home country isn't a sign of defeat, it's an opportunity to rebuild, reconnect, and chase new dreams. For others, it's about finding a place where they can truly thrive, not just survive. This wave of migration tells a powerful story, not just of people leaving, but of their determination to create a better future. While the UK may be seeing an exodus, the world is full of new possibilities, and for many, this is just the beginning of a new adventure. So, what do you think? Is the UK losing its appeal as a top destination for immigrants, or is this just a temporary shift? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this discussion insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Remember, wherever you go, a new beginning is always waiting.